Hi, my name is Kassidy Harpanaugh.
And my name is Madison Yoakum, and we are from the Willow Workers 4-H Club.
Madison, do you have any ideas for a gift for our teachers at school?
Yes, Kassidy, my mom has a book on how to make cookies in a jar.
I don't know. Cookies in a jar sounds really hard.
It's not hard at all. I have already made one jar, and it was really easy and did not take long at all.
What kind of cookies did you make?
I made chocolate chip cookies.
Well, chocolate chip are my favorite cookies, and if the cookies were good, I guess we should try it.
Today we are going to show you how to make cookies in a jar.
Here are a few things we have already done. Washed our hands, read the whole recipe, and gathered all the ingredients and supplies. We have white sugar, chocolate chips, brown sugar, baking soda, salt, flour, a wide-mouthed glass jar with a 2-piece lid, measuring cups, measuring spoons, and instruments for leveling and packing.
And decorating materials. Now that we have all the ingredients and supplies, it's time to get started with the fun part.
First, we need to have a clean wide-mouthed jar with a 2-piece lid. I have already washed and dried the jar.
I'm going to start by adding half a cup of white sugar to our jar. Scoop the sugar up in the half a cup measure and then level it off with something flat. Next, you pour it in the jar.
I am going to measure 1 cup of chocolate chips. When you measure chocolate chips, you need to be sure you don't pack it in the measuring cup. The chocolate chips need to be level with the cup or there will not be enough room in the jar. After you put the chocolate chips in, you gently pat them down.
Next, I am going to measure 1 cup of brown sugar. The correct way to measure brown sugar is to pack it firmly in the measuring cup. Then you need to level off the extra and you pour it in the jar. After I have poured it in the jar, it needs to be packed very well in order for all the ingredients to fit. This is how we pack it.
You can use anything in your kitchen to pack the jar. We are using an ice cream scoop and a Pampered Chef mix and chopper. Did you know the first chocolate chip cookie ever made was in 1930 by a lady named Ruth Wakefield? It was actually made by mistake. She was making her favorite butter drop cookies and realized that she was out of chocolate, and as a replacement, decided to chop up a chocolate bar into small pieces and add them to her cookie dough. As a result, the first chocolate chip cookie was made by mistake. I am going to measure 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Scoop the soda up so that it is heaping and level off the extra with something flat. Then I pour it in the jar.
I am going to measure 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Scoop the salt up so that it is heaping and then level it off with something flat. Next, I pour it in the jar.
I am going to measure 2½ cups of flour. You need to be sure you don't pack the flour in the measuring cup. Take a scoop of flour and dump it in the measuring cup so that it is overflowing. Then take a flat edge and scrape off the extra. Then you pour it in the jar. Between each cup, you need to pack the flour in the jar.
While Kassidy finishes with the flour, I'm going to tell you how to make the cookies. This recipe is very easy to make. All you need to do is empty a jar in a bowl and mix well. Add 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1½ sticks of soft butter. Not melted butter, soft butter. Mix until completely blended. Shape into balls the size of walnuts. Bake at 350 degrees for 13 to 15 minutes, and this makes 2.5 dozen cookies. After our presentation, we have cookies for you all to sample. Did you know you eat about 35,000 cookies in your lifetime? Chocolate chip cookies were originally called chocolate crunch cookies. To finish up your jar, wipe any excess ingredients off the rim of the jar. Then, you place the metal lid on the jar and cover it with a piece of decorative fabric. Then, you screw the ring on.
Finally, you need to attach the baking instructions. You can use a piece of ribbon and add a little color to your instruction sheet like we did.
In conclusion, we showed you how to make cookies in a jar, and while we did this, we taught you all how to we showed you all how to correctly measure dry ingredients.
Are there any questions?
Her question was, how many cookies in a jar have we made? We have made a lot of them. Yes.
Her question was, have you used anything besides chocolate chips? We've used peanut butter chips, we've used M&Ms, Reese's M&Ms, peanut butter, chocolate chip M&Ms. You can use any type of chip. Are there any other questions? If not, this concludes our presentation on how to make cookies in a jar.